Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time, a certain small kid had seen a commercial and wanted to win a year's worth of zebras. Or as it turned out, she was aiming for seeing auroras on Iceland. Eventually, we came to a strange set of stories coming to a conclusion, with Amane getting ice cream from Michiru, and Michiru getting melted ice cream, and possibly something with her indigestion, and Sachi almost pulverizing her own fingers. Right, so let's continue. This school doesn't employ a gym teacher. And yet, our curriculum includes regularly scheduled physical education periods. It's said that late in the course of a certain war, a dearth... I think that's meant to be death, but sure. A dearth of instructors meant the intensive training of new conscripts was truly worthless. It was continued mainly to keep up appearances. Sorry about that, I got a bit of hot cocoa hiccups. Similar motives probably apply in this case. With no teacher, this class is of course educational in name alone. Essentially, it's no different from the recreation periods we were assigned at my previous school. We're simply giving independent drill time, in which we are free to pursue whatever exercise we deem necessary to maintain our physical condition. Alright, I'm going for a run. Anyone want to come along? What? Why the heck would anyone go running in this ridiculous heat? Are you nuts? I've had that overindulgence, and runners high can develop into legitimate addiction. Do be careful. Look, you guys, this is gym class, okay? Would it kill you to at least change into more appropriate clothing? Well, Yeah, I know, Sachi. It's a maid uniform specialized for physical exercise, right? Good enough. How about the rest of you? Come on, this school's athletic clothes are totally lame. Nobody wants to wear that tracksuit thing, you know? Don't be spoiled. Compared to the baby blue sweats of JSDF recruits get, it's downright fashionable. Come on, don't be too hard on her. I'll tag along on your run, okay? You're not wearing the right clothes either, you know. Well, yeah, there's no way I can wear those things at my age. I mean, if the top was a full zip, it might be slightly less dorky. But seriously, those rubber bits on the pants are just awful. So what? It's perfectly functional. Yeah, alright. Want to start off with a sprint? Get the lead out, soldier. Whatever. Don't come crying to me if you get exhausted halfway through. Ah, jeez, there they go. Unbelievable. What's the appeal of running around this brutal weather? Amane's been worrying about her weight lately. She's probably trying to sweat up some pounds. Well then, what shall the rest of us do? Whatever. Do we really have to do anything? Doing nothing sounds good to me. That work for you, Yumiko? Yes, it's not as if we've been assigned any particular activity. If we were just out here to get our fresh air, it seems to me that we are free to do whatever we please, within reason, of course. I myself will be reading in the shade of the trees over there if you need me. What? Hey, you! What the heck did that lounge chair come from? Funny thing about that, I simply muttered to myself, the only thing I want to do on such a hot day is quietly read in the shade with a nice cold lemon soda. And before I knew it, a thoughtful maid had graciously made the necessary preparations. Sachi, this is your doing? Ah, yes, if you would like me, Michiru-sama, I can of course do the same for you. Sounds kinda nice in a way, but I'm not really big on a fan of just sitting around for long periods of time. Well, suit yourself. Do try your best not to disturb me. That girl needs a serious attitude adjustment. Okay, I'm gonna get started with my training routine. Training? What are you planning to do exactly? Well, let's see. Thought I'd start with some light aerobic exercise to get my nitric oxide levels up, then practice my Kazami-style super self-defense techniques. What? Super self-defense? You for real? That sounds completely bogus. Is that why you've been hanging out with Yuji so much lately? You're learning much of his nonsense? What are you calling nonsense? We live in a world where the weak are hunted as prey. Self-defense is incredibly important, you know, and this is super version. Underestimated at your own peril. Well, I guess I understand where you're coming from. I'm more wondering if he's actually teaching you anything useful. If you're that dubious, feel free to put it to the test. Come at me! Your funeral. Here I go! Hiya! What? No! Help me! Tuna fish man! Ah, shut up! Who the heck is Tuna Fish Man? Can you explain how shrieking at me is self-defense technique, let alone a super one? Huh? Do you really need to have everything spoon-fed to you? God, you piss me off sometime. Don't give me that blank stare. Okay, listen carefully. I'll spell it out for you. However much you practice this sort of stuff, when push comes to shove, you're usually going to be too scared to move. So, rather than learning martial arts and building up a lot of dangerously unfounded confidence, your first priority should be to practice screaming for help really loud. What the heck? How is that self-defense? You're just relying on other people to help. But from what I've heard, she's not mistaken on this point. For one thing, if you call for help, your assailant will typically be taken aback. Michiru-sama, you instinctively released your grip on Makina when she shouted, did you not? Well, come on, everybody's going to get a little surprised if you start screaming in their face like that. Indeed, according to Kasami-san, the majority of criminals will begin a mocking attempt by intimidating the victim and warning them to keep quiet, but when you consider the matter logically, such a threat is necessary precisely because the job will be made very difficult if you shout. Of course, some people do suggest that it's safest to offer no resistance whatsoever and do as the criminal tells you, but then again, ready obedience may cause the criminal to think you as a spineless wimp, escalating their confidence and greed. It seems there have been a fair number of such cases that ended in murder. In other words, step one is to scream your heart out. If you make enough noise, the criminal will definitely be startled, and you'll get him worried someone might show up and catch him. At that point, hurting their victim is going to seem like a desperate, risky move. They'll probably decide it's smarter to run away without doing anything. I see. It sort of makes sense now. But what if you happen to run into a stubborn criminal and there's nobody around to help? Seems kinda pointless. Wait, there's more! You gotta be frozen with fear at first, but then when you scream, your whole body naturally relaxes a little bit. That paralyzing tension in your muscle will loosen up and you'll be able to move again. After that, it's time to launch your counterattack. Counterattack? What does that involve? Okay, Qa'Rajh, you're playing the criminal. Specifically a mocker with a knife. Got it? Ah, fine, whatever. A knife, huh? Is it in my right hand or my left? The heck does that matter? But even as I speak, I'm hiding my dominant arm behind my back. You flinched a bit, you know? I'm willing to bet a certain thought just ran through your head. Does she have a weapon back there? Well, do I? And now comes the standoff. The fierce staring match drags on. As the seconds tick by, the criminal weighs her options over again. Fight? Run? Even as she wavers indecisively, her attention is gradually drawn to the movements of my hidden hand, the slight shift to my right shoulder. After all, who knows what I've got back here, right? Might be a knife, might be a gun. Hell, might be a can of hairspray I could fire in her eyes, or even a cell phone I could throw to break her guard. The more she worries, the more her eyes are glued to every twitch of my muscles. Her focus grows tighter and tighter. Cool. By simply hiding my right arm, I've not only held my assailant movements in check, I've gained control of her thoughts. And now? Huh? Oof! Splendid. I know, right? An explosive approach at point-blank range, aiming at the solar plexus, jaw, nose, or whatever vital spot may take my fancy at the moment. A vicious headbutt without a moment's hesitation. It's a brutal human bullet attack. You just disappeared for a second. Indeed, that's the slide dash combo. When a person is intently concentrating on something in particular, they get a serious tunnel vision, you know? By abruptly sliding your body outside that narrowed field of focus, they momentarily lose track of you entirely. In that moment, you charge into attack. What are you doing, Michiru-sama? Do you want to be dragged off to jail in disgrace? Counterattack! Counterattack! I beg you! Gah, you little... Oh, even after a woman works herself into an irrational frenzy and lunges you, you can't get flustered and try to flee. Long ago, a Spartan mother said these wise words: if you have time to lament that your sword is too short, take a step closer to the enemy. At times like these, fight with your instincts and take one bold step forward to the enemy. When you charge forward fearlessly, the enemy will instinctively pull her upper body back in fear of another headbutt. And as the counter of gravity shifts, you reach out and give her a sharp little shove on the shoulders. Hey! Easily throwing her off her balance entirely, see? Now there's the option of immediately launching a tackle toward her unstable lower body, grabbing her around the knees and yanking up to land an easy knockdown. But we've actually got an even better option here. As the criminal braces herself in an attempt to avoid falling over backward, I reach out, grab her by the scruff of her neck and pull her toward me. Why? By pulling your opponent in the same direction she's swinging her body, it's possible to draw her toward you at a considerable speed. Now you simply give her a light jab to the jaw, then on force of momentum will turn it into an effective counter punch, leading to a nice little concussion. Like so, kapowie! Gah! If your opponents happen to collapse to the ground in a heap, her eyes board shaking in their sockets like jello in an earthquake, that's your chance. Make good use of the boots on your feet, fire off a nice hard blow to the throat and crush her windpipe. Or if the mood strikes you, kick her hard in the gut and rupture her internal organs, like so! And finally, when your opponent stops twitching, cautiously leave the scene of the crime. Run up to the nearest police officer and shout, "Please help me, I'm being assaulted by a ruffian!" Like so, now you try! Please help me, I've been assaulted by a ruffian! Okay, perfection! Perfect. My ass. If anything, you're the ruffian here. Ah, crap. That's right. I forgot about broadcasting my victimhood during the fight. Okay, so when you launch a headbutt, a kick, or whatever, yell something like, "Please stop," or "Someone, anyone," anytime you land a hit, okay? Make sure you remember that part. It's important stuff. Playing the victim even as you rain down excessive violence on the enemy and utterly rob her of any ability to defend herself. This truly is super self-defense, Maki-chan. Well, it only went this way because the opponent was Qa'Rajh. Oni-chan said to try to stick to shouting, you know? According to him, martial arts is something you practice in order to gain the courage to scream when you need to. In other words, it's a school of self-defense aimed at a safe escape rather than a victorious fight. Now you got the idea. Don't give me that crap. I'm with Michiru on this one. It's really not a good idea to take anything that Meathead says at face value. What? Amane? Back already? What was I thinking? It's so goddamn hot. Just one lap around the school and I'm totally soaked in sweat. Running in this weather was just insane. I'm dying. What about Oni-chan? Where did he go? The man cannot be human. He ran calmly off toward the station with this cool look on his face. He's a cyborg. There's no other explanation. An intriguing theory. Kasami himself told me. Did once say, I was just made that way, if I remember correctly. This is the last straw. Someone needs to tell him off. How dare he teach Makina all this crap? It's his fault that I... By the way, anyone want to tell me why Michiru is lying in the heap on the ground, or why she's covered in head to toe in mud? It's very simple, you see. I'm the victim here. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I don't really follow. Soon after having returned to the athletic grounds, I ended up having to apologize to Michiru over something or other in order to deflect a mysterious fit of violent indignation. And to this day, I have no idea what she was so angry about. And there's the bell. Seems like a good point to stop anyway. That will be all for today's modern Japanese class. At the sound of the bell, the principal promptly cuts off the lesson and puts away her chalk. Her consistent punctuality in these matters are reminiscent of a clock-punching civil servant counting down the years until retirement. Perhaps I should try and learn from her example. Which means it's feeding time at long last. Let's stick our snouts in the trough and snarf up our slub while squealing like starved hogs. I'll let that unpleasant remark slide, but your table manners had better be good today, got it? Yes! Oh, one last thing. We're having music class this afternoon, so please make sure you head to the correct classroom. Even as she passes on the reminder, the principal is efficiently putting away her textbooks. As soon as the words are out of her mouth, she exits the classroom with the cheerful expression of an office lady thinking over her lunch. Come to think of it, it's been a while since we had music class. This is the first time I've selected music for my afternoon elective. What's the class like at this school? I don't think it's really that different from what you find in any other school. But I guess we do a lot of choral songs like, you know, Moldova or whatever. Are you maybe talking about the Moldau by Smetana? Huh? Wasn't that something to do with the stock prices? Yeah, the Dow Jones isn't involved, but whatever, Moldova, sure, I guess. Okay, I think you just gave up. But that teacher with the cabbage roll hair said we'd be doing an instrumental performance this time, you know? An instrumental performance? We're supposed to bring our favorite musical instrument. He's gonna have us perform some song together, I guess. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the last music lesson, but did he really say that? You're prone to delusion, Jimmy-chan, so it may sound something like something else to you. That's definitely what he said, though. If you got that much confidence, I suppose I'll have to take your word for it. Okay, but how am I supposed to pick a favorite instrument all of a sudden? Kind of a tricky question. Alright, let's use the lunch period to look over our options. It'll be easier to settle on our preferences that way. Look over our options? What, do you want to get someone to open up the music storage room for us? What are you talking about, Amani? We got Sachi right here. Oh, I see. It seems she's suggesting we have our dedicated miracle worker pull musical instruments out of her hat. I understand what you're trying to say, Michiru-sama, and it would be my pleasure. As you wish. I shall now strip to the nude. The hell? Nobody asked for the classroom striptease. I'm sorry, I was under the impression that you wanted to look me over as a potential option in order to settle your preferences. Have I perhaps slightly misinterpreted your words, Michiru-sama? Yes, very badly. It's hard enough keeping up with the Sundara act. Don't tag on bi-curious too. So she just came out and said the Thundera thing is an act. What a ridiculous human being. Well, whatever. Let's give this a trial run. Sachi, get us a musical instrument. I don't mind, but could you be more specific? Let's see. Okay. A simple soprano recorder sounds good for starters. Yes, certainly. As soon as she's formally received her orders, Sachi runs over to her locker in the usual manner. Thank you for your patience. Here we are. In no time at all, she returns to Michiru and hands over the requested wind instrument. Yep, there we go. This is a soprano recorder, alright. Wait, what the heck? Why does this thing have my name engraved on the back? Recorders are very easy to misplace or confuse, so I thought it would be best to mark it with the owner's name beforehand. Wait, does that mean you could just crank out personalized recorders for all of us if we asked? Yes, any name containing 8 characters or less shouldn't pose any difficulties. Freaky, that's amazing, but also kind of freaky. Well, I'm impressed, Sachi. Not only did you prepare the instrument instantly, you're apparently a fairly competent engraver. Thank you very much. Okie dokie then. As Qa'Rajh is currently backing away while quivering ever so slightly, I'll be taking command here. Everybody think of an instrument you want to try out and pass the request on to Sachin, okay? Yeah, sounds reasonable. Excellent! Alright, you bums, decide on your request within the next 5 minutes. Okay. Oof, here we are. Seems our preparations are complete. Indeed, fortunately I was able to obtain the items requested. While I've been sitting here reading my paperback, Sachi has been methodically carrying musical instrument cases of various shapes and sizes into the classroom. This seems to be the last of them. By the way, what did you go with, Sakaki? A recorder. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. An alto recorder. Go ahead and laugh if you like. I don't really think it's anything to get that defensive about. Definitely a bit of a surprising choice, though. True that, Yumi-chan's a princess and all that, so I sort of had this mental image. Your posture is all wrong, again! Shouts the strict old bag. Start over every 10 seconds till you get it right. Every proper lady's gotta learn the violin or whatever. No, I didn't have any lessons in arts of any sorts. The only instrument I'm capable of playing decently is the recorder I learned as a child. Hehehe, Sakaki-san has a cute side too, it would seem. Susan? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. The urge to teach you was just too strong. I understand that she's upset, but why glare at me? Alright then, what musical did you pick, Susan? I went with this. I think that answers the question. With obvious relish, Amane takes her instrument for its case and gives it a vigorous strum. I see. You chose an electric guitar, Amane. Female student and guitars go pretty nicely together, right? Well, I suppose it does feel like the most appropriate possible choice in your case. You think so? Yeah, it kind of fits your image, I guess. Like, you'd play a gig and then go have casual sex in the men's bathroom, maybe. You people are seriously determined to make me out as a slut. Just a thought here. If she has a problem with her image, maybe she could try and break that habit of aggressively mashing her tits against people. Thing is, though, I only really know 3 guitar chords or so. What the heck, you can't even play that thing? Okay, then what did you pick, Michiru? Hehehe, I went with the obvious choice. Michiru proudly brandishes an enormous musical instrument. A harp? That's right, a perfect fit for an intellectual like myself, don't you think? No, not in the least. I'd be hard-pressed to think of a less appropriate choice. If anything, I think I feel kind of bad for the instrument. Let's reconsider your options. Why don't you try to make music by rubbing your twin tails together? Why am I the only one getting all these nasty comments? Also, harp's apparently really heavy. Way too freaking heavy. Not to worry, I'll now provide you with a musical instrument ideally suited for your capabilities, Michiru. Really? Yep. I quietly nod to Sachi, who hands Michiru a small xylophone used in the school's public announcement broadcast. A xylophone? Dubious as your physical strength may be, I think you should be able to handle this, right? What's more, if you simply hit the bars in order from one end to the other, you'll get a nice little melody they play before announcements. Gah! What the hell? Am I some kind of circus chimpanzee? No one seems willing to answer that question. Apparently I'm not the only one who thinks a performing ape is actually a pretty good match for Michiru in the brains department. Whatever, so what did you pick, Makina? I got myself a synth. As she speaks, Makina immediately sounds off a demonstration note. Well, this particular model can't synthesize new sounds, so it might be simple to describe it as a keyboard. I'm more interested in knowing how on earth you got your hand to such a large, expensive instrument. Yes, it's clearly not feasible to keep an item of this size stored in my locker, so I launched a raid on the music storage room and took custody of this instrument. A raid, she says. So basically we might as well just have gone to the storage room in the first place? So it would seem, yes. Anyway, keyboards are pretty cool. This thing can make all sorts of sounds, you know? And what would you use them for? For example. By the way, Qa'Rajh, Oni-chan complimented your twin tails the other day. Huh? Really? Like so. I'm not your freaking guinea pig. Or maybe. Wow, Yumi-chan slashing her own clothes to shreds with a box cutter. I don't know what sort of person you think I am, but if you think I'm actually going to play along, you are severely mistaken. Yumi-chan's no fun. No, I really don't think you can blame her on this one. She is using it in strange ways, but the versatility of this instrument might make it a good fit for Makina, as complement to her limited powers of self-expression. Well then, last up would be Sachi. What instrument did you choose? I decided on this. With a smile, Sachi places a block of wood slightly larger than a tissue box on top of a disc. What's this thing? There's 2 metal rods sticking out of it, but it doesn't really look like an instrument.
Wait, is this a theremin?
You continue to impress me, Kazumi-san. You're familiar with the theremin?
From books, yes. This is the first time I've actually laid eyes on one.
Hey, what? What the heck is that thing? Theremin? It sounds like a nickname you give to someone named Terumi. The theremin is an unusual musical instrument invented in Russia. Apparently it requires no physical contact from its performer. Simply by positioning your hands in the air, you can control the volume and pitch of the sounds it produces. Wow, you're pretty knowledgeable yourself, Sakaki-san. Betcha she saw the name on the net somewhere, then ran a search thinking it might be some cute Hello Kitty character. What? She doesn't deny it, which probably means Makina hit the bullseye. Come to think of it, Kasami-san, have you decided on your own instrument?
I don't have any particular favorites, so I'm fine playing with whatever the instructor recommends.
That's not much fun.
Alright, then why don't you choose something for me?
Oh, now that sounds like a much more interesting option. Let's see, an instrument that would suit Yuji.
I don't have any particular strength or weaknesses in this field. After all, it'll probably be my first time playing whatever instrument you choose, so it's all the same to me.
In that case, how about an acoustic guitar? Well, it does seem fairly fitting, but perhaps an overly conservative choice. Okay, maybe a harmonica, you know, down at the harbor, resting his feet on the pier, playing jazz to the sea. Not a terrible idea, but I gotta say, Avani, your tastes are kind of old-fashioned. Gah, you kinda hit me where it hurts. Let's see, a violin perhaps? Not a bad choice after all, in my opinion.
I haven't touched any of these instruments before, so it's a bit hard to choose.
If you can't decide, Orin-chan, why don't you just play the synth like me?
I see. That's not a bad idea either.
Hey now, if 2 of one instrument is loud, let's play electric guitar together. In that case, Oh, what's all this? Just look at all these instruments. Are you starting a band or something?
No, we're just in the middle of choosing our instrument for the upcoming class.
The upcoming class? Isn't 5th period music class the vocal chorus lesson? Huh?
You sure about that?
Look, it's right here in black and white, see? The principal hands over a copy of a detailed class schedule. Just as he says, the words music, choral lesson are printed in the relevant box.
I see. Thank you for correcting our faulty intelligence.
I don't quite understand the situation, but I'm glad I could be of help, I suppose. Yes, thank you very much. Your assistant has allowed us to identify a pressing need for discipline. Is that a fact? Yes, you see, a naughty little girl seems to have been brazenly spreading complete misinformation. Hey, hold on a sec, you two. Everybody makes mistakes, you know? True enough, but I assume you're prepared to face the consequences of those mistakes, Iri-Susan. Not you too, Yumi-chan.
Give it up, Makina. You ended up wasting an entire lunch period. A little punishment is only natural.
Even Oni-chan abandons me, I guess I'll have to take it like a man. But I'd like just 1 minute to steal my resolve first. Acceptable, I suppose. Sachin, here's the thing. What is it? From this moment until lunch end, I want you to run around carrying me. Don't let them catch us. Yes, of course. What? Hey, Makina, you using Sachi as a shield? Coward! Call me whatever you want. It's the winners that write history books. Makina! Wah! Sachin, let's get out of here before they start shooting lasers from their eyes! Yes, certainly. As Amana and Michiru takes their first step forward, Sachi shoulders Makina like a backpack and darts out of the classroom. You little punk! Hold it right there! Underestimate the thunder at your own peril! Those two seem quite motivated. Not that it's going to be enough to catch Kamina-san. Can we all just get along, please? Makina's flight from justice isn't exactly admirable, but Sachi's absolute obedience is pretty amoral in its own right. Don't think you can get away from me! That's my Sachin! Amani and Qa'Rajh are only gasping for air! Minutes later, with the bell announcing the end of the lunch period brought her request to an end, Makina's boastful jeering dissolved into miserable screams. Mwah! No way! And with that shriek, we shall end the episode there. So, until next time, take care.